Hey, my name's Cam Calhoun, and over the years as a speaker, I've had the greatest privilege of turning my biggest perceived weakness, the way I talk, into my biggest perceived strength and my passport to traveling in the world, inspiring people and sharing a story that makes people feel awesome. In response, I hear from a lot of people about their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, their stories. People who perceive themselves as everyday people, but are out there doing extraordinary things through building their dreams, through taking the step towards being who they want to be. They have an idea, they make it happen. Today, we've got our first guest, great friend Jenna, talking about her journey with Mila May Candles. Hey, so I was going to do a big introduction, Jenna, but, often when I'm speaking, someone will do an introduction, and then I'm like, what am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
You've said it all. And we've got you here in person, so that's really cool. And you and I, we go way back.
We do.
Way back to school.
Way back to school. Did we even know each other in school, though?
I like to think we did because
Yeah.
you're so cool now,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I definitely knew who you were.
What do you remember from school?
Oh, I hated school. I'm not going to lie. I did not like school. I don't have good memories.
What was it that you didn't like about it?
I don't know, I think just because I changed school so many times, you kind of have to reestablish your group of friends every time you move. So then Rangi was the last one, which was fine. I had a good group of friends. But I don't know, I'm just not academic either. It just wasn't my vibe.
And so when you look back at a school, does it kind of give you, what do you feel? Do you just...
It makes me feel anxious.
Yeah.
My son just turned 5 and he's about to start school and I'm like, I don't want him to go to school because it's people are cruel. Kids are cruel. It's not fond memories for me.
You don't want him to experience it, eh?
No.
Did you get bullied or a hard time?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
For being a new kid or?
I don't know. Honestly, what day is it? What does someone want to be angry at you about that day? One day you're someone's friend, the next day you said something wrong and you're not their friend.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that, especially in the primary school that I went to. But it was a small town as well, so. But I don't know, just I didn't get physically bullied. It was just.
So it's a strange thing, eh? Just that idea of people just not seeing the best in someone and giving them a hard time.
Yeah.
So school, we crossed paths. And then we crossed paths at a speaking workshop.
Yeah.
Man, so many people wouldn't want to do speaking, and here you are at a workshop. Where did that come about? Why?
I think that's another reason I hated school because I've never really had good self-confidence. And so the speaking thing was, Mum had done it and she suggested it would be something that would be good for me.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, stuff it, I'm just going to go out of my comfort zone and give it a go. And then when I saw you there, I was like, okay, this is going to be all good. That made it for me. It was terrifying though.
Really?
Terrifying.
I actually thought you were the most confident person in the room.
Really?
Yeah, because you had bright pink hair.
Red. It was bright red. Yeah.
It's crazy red
Yeah,
hair.
I know.
So where does that come from? From someone who didn't have confidence to doing what others would go, man.
I don't know. It's weird because I don't have a lot of confidence, but I also don't I don't mind being the center of attention or look, it's so weird. It doesn't really make any sense. Or with my friends, I'm outgoing and chatty and it's all fine. But if I'm new to a situation, it's quite nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take me long to warm up.
And so do you kind of do a fake it till you make it? Do you feel you have to be that out there person?
Maybe. I don't know. I think I just am that person, but it just takes me a minute to come out and be that person around new people. I don't know, but definitely faking it till I make it.
But something like dyeing your hair would be a reminder to be louder or to stand out.
I don't know. I've just always changed my hair color. Maybe it is related to that. I've never really thought about it.
It's important in life, when we just have those moments like right now to stop and think about things that we do,
Right, yeah. I don't know.
Because it would be a confidence-related thing, I would say.
Yeah, maybe it made me feel more confident, like, but I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
Maybe because, like, I used to get a lot of compliments from having bright red hair, like, because you can't miss it, right? So maybe that was a confidence booster for me without actually thinking about it, you know?
Well, compliments make you feel good, right?
100%.
I remember when I was starting with my speaking and someone came up and just said, well spoken, very well spoken. And I was in front of a group of business people and I was like, wow, cool, I can do this. And even though what? And everyone would be like, oh, you're so confident. But what they didn't realise is back home was, you know, this big bit of paper, sleepless nights, working through it. But it's kind of, you know, this persona that you've got to be and you work towards that.
Yeah.
And so the third thing we have is that we're birthday twins.
We are.
Well, we're a week apart, so
but still.
it was a long labour, eh?
Birthday week, twins.
But what we've done for the last, I don't know how many years, is we've celebrated that day together for birthday cakes. And I was just wondering, you know that whole tradition of cut into a cake and make a wish?
Yeah.
Have any of those wishes ever come true?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. I feel like you make a wish and then I forget what the wish was.
Yeah, I feel like we make pretty naff wishes when we do that.
Yeah, I don't know that they're very relevant. Because I can't even remember what my last one was.
Yeah, because
Did we do it this year?
Although we have a whole year to come up and we know everyone's going to say, make a wish when you cut into a cake.
Yeah.
But it always feels like, oh man, I'm panicking.
Yeah, what's the wish going to be? And it's like something that's...
Imagine if we could make it something more meaningful, eh?
Maybe that should be our new thing.
Yeah.
That it is a meaningful wish and then we can reestablish the next year whether it came true or not. Yeah.
Deal. We'll do that next year.
Awesome.
Cool. So when you were a kid, you already said you moved around quite a lot, but what did you want to be? Dreams, goals, aspirations?
I don't really think I had any. Like, I've never been career driven as such. The only thing that I was super passionate about when I was little was babies and kids. I wanted to be a mum from a young age. That's pretty much all I can remember. I was always babysitting, always wanted to be around little kids, all that sort of stuff. But I was never that kid that was like, I want to be a builder when I grow up, or I want to be a doctor or anything like that. I don't remember ever saying things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what kind of has happened though, right?
Yeah.
You've got your kids.
Yeah, and I was a nanny for 10 years as well.
You've been a nanny. Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of just weird. I've always babysat or had little nannying jobs as well prior to that. So it's just always been something that's like been priority in my life, is having relationships with kids and being around babies.
Okay.
Love them. They're cute.
Okay.
Yeah. Not so much these days now. I've got my own kids.
No, you've got your own. So maybe that's where we'll go. Because now I know you as, or know of you as, the candle chick.
Yeah.
You're making candles. And so when I speak, I'll have people that come up to me and go, hey, Cam, I want to be a speaker. I want to build a business. I want to have a charity. And you, at a certain point, said, not to me, but to your circle of influence, to your network, but I want to make candles.
Well, I didn't even do that. It literally just happened. Like, once it started happening, I was like, okay, this is the decision. This is the path we're going to go down. But I literally just started making candles during lockdown for a bit of fun in these vintage vessels. And then, do you remember that website, the Choice website? It was orange. It was on Facebook, and I think it had 2 O's. Okay. And it was all like New Zealand businesses, and they were putting like little things that they were selling and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was set up during COVID.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So someone said to me, oh, why don't you put some of your candles on there? And I was like, okay. So I just chucked some pictures up and did that. And I got smashed with messages. I started panicking because I was like, I don't have any of these things that these people want. Like, people are ordering vessels and candles, and I don't have any of the stuff. Like, we were just kind of joking around to see what would happen.
Yeah. So you'd made like a few at home?
Yeah. Like, I'd done some testers and I had burnt them, and I knew I could make a candle, and I knew I loved it and it was fun, but I didn't think anyone would be interested in buying them from me. So then when we put this out there and I just got all these messages, I just like had like a mini panic because I was like, what am I going to do? Like, and that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I kind of came to you, although you did have a courage. A lot of people wouldn't even do that, Jenna.
Yeah.
Of when that Choice website, when the Choice came up, of actually putting it on there.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, what have I got to lose? I'll just give it a try and see what happens. And then, yeah, I got so many messages that I think I had like, I can't even remember, but it was like 15 orders in the first few hours. And I was like, what? What is happening?
Wow.
Yeah.
So had you priced them up? Like, cause
No,
there's all
I
these
hadn't even
things,
done
like,
any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you show that up there? You've got candles for sale.
Yeah, well, I
but
just
no
put
prices.
pictures up there. I didn't put like prices. I just put the pictures and like explained a little bit, and then was just getting messages. Oh, I would love a vintage vessel like this or whatever. So then I had to go away and find vessels and price them up, work out how to do all that.
And how long did that process take? Because that could overwhelm people as well.
It was super overwhelming. I'm pretty sure I was borderline tears because I was like, this is amazing and how cool, but like I don't actually know what I'm doing and I didn't expect this. But obviously my husband Adam is very calm, and so he was like, right, well, let's just sit down and work it out. So we did, and we got out these orders, and then we just fine-tuned the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of made it, I don't know, an easier process for me to work out.
And when you were coming up for that process, what kind of things did you want it to? I mean, did you have a business name? Did you envisage like what it would be like when people receive a candle?
No, like this was so early on, and I literally hadn't ever thought about having my own business. As I said before, like I've never been career driven. It's just, it's not been a thing for me. So I'd never imagined having my own business. So I hadn't thought about any of this stuff. It was just like, okay, is this happening? And then when people just kept coming back or kept buying things, I made an Instagram page, at which point I had picked the name, and the name Mila May is a name that I had on my girl list for a baby, but I had 2 boys. So I was like, well, let's use Mila May because candles are like feminine and well, they can be masculine too. But yeah, I went with that, and it was a pink logo. I don't even really like the color pink, but I was like, oh, again, girly, we'll just go with pink.
Yeah.
It was hideous, quite frankly, but it is what it is. So I made Instagram and Facebook, and then just keep getting messages and keep selling these vintage vessels, and kind of had come up with a structure for pricing and stuff. And then we just kind of thought maybe I should start a website. So then we did that, and it's just kind of all, and because we opened it over COVID, I also had a baby during that time, and I didn't have great pregnancies, so I didn't have a lot of time to work on it. So it kind of took a back seat. So it's only really like the last 18 months that I've really pushed it.
But I've been walking around like shops in Devonport, and I see you there. You've just been at a big market. You have these events, and I see influencers connecting with you. And it certainly looks like this is a business from a really driven person who's always wanted to.
Yeah, well,
to have that.
That's what you'd think for someone who's always wanted to. I want to now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And is that because you've got a taste of it? And so you're like, okay, this, it's kind of ignited something within you?
Yeah, I love it. Like having my own business is super cool, something to be proud of, but also it gives me flexibility to still be around for the boys because they're still so young.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I have made some amazing friends and built some really cool relationships just through my phone on Instagram with this business. So it's
how do you do that? Because we live in a world where people are kind of feeling socially isolated or not connected, but you really feel you've made some good friends.
I've literally made like lifelong friends just through Instagram, and it's all been like at the start I didn't really know how to navigate it, but then it was like you just have to put yourself out there. Like if you don't talk or ask, you don't get back, right? You have to put yourself out there. So I would just message people or like start interacting with people, and then you kind of get to chatting, and one thing leads to the next. Or I mean, my best friend, we've only been friends for 18 months, but literally she slid into my DMs and just off something that I said that resonated with her, and we literally are it's like we've known each other our whole lives. We're like the same person. So like that's amazing. And then there's a whole bunch of others as well.
And so like do you meet up with these people pretty quickly in order to make it something real?
So Tara actually was coming to Auckland. So she was like, should we meet up for a drink? And we did. And it was random. It was like we were going on a Tinder date or something, like meeting up with a stranger. But we just, we met up and we just instantly clicked and that was it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. What have you learned from that?
That you've just got to put yourself out there. Like if you want something in life, you can't just sit around and wait for it to happen. You have to go out there and you have to make things happen for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a strategy? Because you have a lot of people, I'd be like, okay, there's that cool person I'm following online. What do I even say?
Yeah. Oh my God.
How do I get it started?
Yeah. I constantly overthink. Or I'll write a message and then I'll delete it and start it again. But you just have to kind of, but I think the more natural approach as well, like I don't go, like obviously I've connected with some great influencers as well, but I've connected with them on like a personal level to actually because I have like similar interests or whatever it might be. And it's not about it's not a sales tactic. It's not me trying to get them to sell my product or whatever. It's just actually making a friendship and then just naturally progresses that way.
Yeah.
You know, they want to support you as well.
Yeah.
So it's just.
And so do you think that network is what's kind of helping feed this kind of version of Jenna that is about I am driven, I have got goals and.
Yeah, 100%. The network is why Mila May is growing and is successful at this point. I couldn't do it without that network.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the base of it, is growing that and getting myself out there, going to different events, meeting new people, talking about my product, like, and just even, as I say, just being friends with people, because then you meet other people through them and opportunities happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I started with my athletics. And before that, I didn't really have a goal. Like, life was okay, but I noticed challenges would come up and it was really easy to get into a bit of a hole with life.
Yeah.
And then I got into my athletics and all of a sudden I had a goal. And although I had less choice about what I was going to do with my time, I was happier.
Yeah.
And so do you feel with having this business, how has that impacted or influenced your well-being? I guess it came at a time in life when it was quite a scary time as well. We're in lockdowns.
Yeah, it was.
Your mum again.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had a new baby and stuff, so then it was the decision of do I go back to work or do I keep doing this job? Luckily, my husband has a good job, so it means that I can kind of do this in the background and just keep working on growing it. But I'm not going to lie, it's really hard. And there are days where I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? This is
because of everything that's going on in life?
Just life is busy. Like we have 2 little kids, you know, I'm obviously doing all the daily run with them and looking after them as well. But then you've got a house to run and then the business. It's me, just me doing everything. You know, I'm marketing, I'm designing things, I'm making things, I'm like contacting new wholesalers, like everything is on me. So there's just some days where it's just extremely overwhelming and I'm like, is it worth it? But then I just take a step back and have a look at everything that I've achieved so far. And I'm like, well, I enjoy this. I love it. I'm passionate about it at the moment still. So let's just keep going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not easy and it's not glamorous. And Instagram is just the fun, pretty stuff that you see, and there's a whole bunch of crap that goes on in the background.
Yeah, over behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, I try to share as much of that as I can and like make it real. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy running your own business.
So how do you do it? How do you keep going? And how have you been able to learn the stuff that you've needed?
I have so much support. Like my parents are super supportive and they help a lot with the kids. And then my husband, again, is super supportive. He also has a job where he can be flexible. So if there's something that I need to attend to, he can be around to help with the kids. It's literally that whole, it takes a village. It really does. It's the support from everyone that helps me get through, and just kind of recognizing when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed and kind of going, okay, none of this is life or death. Take a step back and just have a minute.
Yeah.
And like kind of regroup. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
real awesome. None of us is life or death.
Nah.
And taking that time, I guess, to have some fun.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. That's another thing that I find is that if I can just take, even though I'm like, I'm super busy, I've got so many things to do, but if I just make an hour or two to go and meet up with a friend for a coffee or go for a walk or do something just for me, I find I come back with a whole new, fresh, I'm ready to go. And it's just a whole new attitude, and it's amazing. So instead of like panicking that, if I take those 2 hours out, then I'm going to have all this work to do after, it is actually so good for your head and your soul.
What have you learned from other people? Because you've been around from some pretty influential, driven, entrepreneurial people who are just like you, behind the scenes. It's all go, go, go. And there's dark stuff and heavy stuff. Do you ever chat or find out from them how they get through it?
Yeah. Supportive family, supportive partners, supportive friends, and people who, just people who are on your team and will help you with whatever you need. Obviously, that needs to be reciprocated. You've got to be there for them as well. But it's also just like, it is hard work. So you have to decide, is this the path that you want to go down? Like, you're going to have to be having late nights and doing everything, and it's going to be stressful. But like having those conversations with these people as well, it makes you realize, okay, I'm not alone. Because sometimes when you're at home working by yourself, it gets really lonely. And sometimes you're like, okay, well, I haven't had this today, or this hasn't happened today, or this is not going great for me today. And you kind of feel like, am I the only one? And all these other people are having all these successes, and I'm just at home with nothing happening. No one's replying to my stories. No one's doing, just an off day. But then you go and you just pick up the phone and speak to one of them, and they're like, no, it happens to us too. Like, so you're not alone, like having conversations.
But it's having that real conversation, and often going deeper.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to ring up, hey, how's it going? Oh, yeah, we're cranking.
Yeah.
We're selling heaps of
I'm
candles.
like, shut up, that's not what I want to hear sometimes. Yeah.
But sometimes you can lie it as well. So we can be at home feeling bad, I need to talk with someone.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to admit to what's going on in my life that's heavy or sad or not going well.
But that is the key, is that there is nothing wrong with admitting that you're feeling low or you're stressed or you need some help. Like that, to me, is something that I've learned, especially the older I've got, is that talking about it and telling people, I need some help, something's up, I can't do this alone, is literally the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had a moment with Mila May or in life where you've done that? Like where you really go, man, that conversation just changed everything?
Yeah. Often. I have conversations like that all the time. Yeah. Often with my husband and my mum. My mum's a really good person to talk to.
Yeah. Is there an example of something you can share where...
Well, I have them often with my mum, to be honest, because as I've mentioned already, my self-confidence is not great. Even now, you get that whole imposter syndrome thing, and you're like, what? Like, for example, when you asked me to do this, I was like, why does he want me? Like, I just make candles. Like, that's my vibe. It's like, I just make candles. Like, that's how I talk about myself and think about myself often. And so having someone that you can talk to about these sorts of things, or that can pull you back up and just give you a bit of a boost and be like, hey, why don't you stop and like actually have a look at what you've created and what you have done? Yep. Yes, you've had support and you've had help, but you have done this. This is you, your work, your hard, yakka, like someone who can just pull you up and just kind of switch your mind to think on the positive side.
Yeah.
So anyone that can do that for you, it doesn't have to be a mum or dad. It could be literally someone who inspires you, or even a stranger. Like if you're telling your story to a stranger and they can pull you out of that hole, like it can be anyone.
It might be someone you haven't even met. I mean, it could be you with social media. You can choose who you follow and be like, wow, I'm really inspired by that guy.
That's a really good point. Follow people. If you are on social media, only follow people who inspire you or that bring positivity to your day. Don't follow people that are negative or don't align with your
100%.
values or
Yeah.
anything like that, because that will just bring you down. If that's happening, you're watching someone and it's making you feel that way, unfollow.
I know, when people say, "Oh, social media is so negative," I'm like, "Well,
You don't need. It doesn't
you
need
can
to
choose
be.
that."
Yeah,
Just like when
exactly.
you don't want to watch the news and you flick it
That's
over
it.
to something else.
100%.
Same thing,
Like align yourself with those people who are positive, have the same values as you, and you know that can lift you up, and you can also do the same for them, which includes social media.
Is there anyone you follow who's online that, whether you've met them or not, but whether you...
Yep, there's lots of them, but a couple of standouts would be Kennedy Anderson, who owns the Whitening Co., who's actually I met on Instagram and is now one of my very good friends.
Okay.
He actually lives close to me as well.
So for those who don't know Kennedy, what can you tell us about?
Kennedy is like one of the most inspiring people I know. He's a lot like you, like just super motivated, super fun, just honestly like young, driven. He's crazy, but amazing crazy.
Okay.
Sometimes
He's set up quite a few businesses.
Oh yeah, I think he's had bloody 8 in his life, and he's in his 20s, like early 20s. He's just Sometimes I come away from him like and he's done so much for me, and I just can't even thank him enough. Like even just if I call him up and I'm like, hey, can we catch up tomorrow? And I just need to have a bit of a brain fart about all this stuff. Like, what are we doing with this? How can I do this? He'll just come at me with 15 different ideas.
Awesome.
And it's so inspiring because I'm like, how do you think of these things? But he's just always got something, and he's always helping others. He's phenomenal.
You know, when you say, "Oh, how can I ever thank someone like that?" I find one of the cool things is and he knows, you just let them know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so for anyone listening, those mentors in our life or people that have supported us, if someone supported us that maybe play sport and you have a game, give them a call afterwards and just say, hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And again, like what Kennedy does for you, that person will probably be like, okay, well, have you thought about doing this or that? Or this is how you get stronger or faster, more confident.
Yeah. And that's the relationship that we have. Like now it's great. Like it's turned into a proper friendship.
Yeah.
And we'll, check in on each other. Like, we're down in Hamilton for this pop-up, and him and other friends, messaging, hey, I hope it goes well this weekend. That's kind of support is huge.
Yeah.
Like even just that simple message just kind of boosts you, and you're like, my friends are backing me,
Yeah.
It's cool.
And that's what gives you that confidence that you don't think you've got.
Yeah. And also like telling your friends that you are proud of them and that you love them are like two massive things for me. Like people are scared to say those things, and I think males more than females, but like when your friend or family member tells you that they're proud of you and that they love you, it is the best feeling in the world. It is such a boost. So I just think that more people need to do that as well.
Well, I'm proud of you. That's why you're here. So,
Thanks, Cam.
with the candles, because I just want people to realize this really has turned into a business for you, right? I mean, you don't need to go and look for another job.
No, like
or
it's my full-time work at the moment.
Yeah.
In saying that, as I've said, my husband has a good job, so that helps. The business is doing well, but there is a lot of growth to come. Yeah.
So what's next, or do you know what that growth looks like or what you need to do?
Such a good question. So many things, but probably my main goal at the moment is to get some more stockists. So I've got a bunch of them now, but get some more. So get into some more shops.
And that's through just building your relationships,
and it's
going
just
over to people.
approaching people, and it's like the whole cold calling stuff, which is awful to do. That's why I try and do the warm leads, and I try and make like relationships or speak to people and meet people first, and kind of go down that track because it's more natural and feels like it's meant to be.
So making a warm lead for someone because someone's thinking, I've got to make a cold call. How do you make it into a warm lead?
Like through someone else or just by if you're following them and you start, as I say, commenting or like liking their stuff and just making casual conversation to start with.
Nice.
Yeah. Or like get off your butt and go into their shop if they've got one and go and introduce yourself, because someone's way more likely to want to have you on board if you've gone in there and made the effort, taken your product and gone, hey, I've been following you. I love your shop. This is my staff. Like, what do you think? You know?
I was listening to a speaker talking about wanting to meet another speaker, and he kept ringing up a speaker and just nothing, no response to his email. And this other speaker wrote a book, right? And so it was in the mix or one of the bookshops. And so the guy that had been wanting to contact with him went and bought every single book in the bookshop of his and took a photo and said, no, I've got all your books, will you meet up with me?
Wow.
But it's just those things, right? Of thinking differently. I've got another friend who, when he was applying for work for the TV, you know, everyone was submitting a CV on a bit of paper, and he got his CV and he stuck it in the basketball and put that on the table.
Amazing.
And automatically that stood out. So it's finding those little ways you've got to stand out, to be confident, even if you're not confident. But
step out of your comfort zone, Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying. But if you want anything in life, you have to, like, just get up and get it.
And you realise that because you've had moments where you've done it and gone, that was real scary, but I did it, and this is what happened as a result.
Yeah, and also if it doesn't go according to plan, did you die from it? No. You learn and you move on, like, and then you probably forget about it. I've had people like rejection, and it, you know, it's like, oh, that sucks, but then like it's gone. You know, you move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
it's not the end of the world.
Just keep loving yourself and other people, and know that you're the best at what you do.
That's it,
and you're going to get better.
Yeah.
So more stockers. What's some other big things?
Look, I would love to have a store eventually, but that's a huge commitment and a lot of expense. But, you know, that's kind of the end goal, is to have my own shop.
Okay.
But that would also involve staff, because I can't, because the product that I make is custom made to order. So I don't just have candles on the shelf stocked up ready to roll.
Yeah.
So if I had a shop, that would probably change a little bit. But yeah, so if I am needing to make more, I'm going to have to employ someone to help me with that, because there's only so many candles I can make in a day by myself. So yeah.
And then you've got, in New Zealand, we've obviously got some pretty big candle distributors, manufacturers. Is that kind of a goal to get to the size of one of those?
100%. But at the same time, I don't want it to ever be to the point where it's not like the whole handmade with love vibe. You know, that's why I started this, because I hand pour the candles and they have a point of difference. You essentially are building your own candle. And yeah, maybe I might not be able to always do that option because it's a lot of extra work for me. But I don't ever want it to be like a mass produce machine thing, is where my head is at the moment. Okay. But who knows, like, is that even possible?
I mean, you didn't think you'd be doing what you're doing today.
Yeah, that's it.
3 years ago. Did you ever have to think stuff like environmental?
Oh, yeah,
around?
Of course.
Yeah. So what's the kind of stuff? So like in terms of your wax or your packaging?
Yeah, so like I use soy wax, which is better for the environment, and obviously like you can use it on your skin and stuff like that, so it's all natural stuff. And I just try and use the best products for the environment that I can. And like when it comes to like getting boxes and stuff, you try and do everything as well as you can, but also then there's the expense that comes with it. So you can only do what works for you at that time. But it is definitely something I'm very conscious of.
Yeah. But as long as you get out there, you do it, you readjust your plan as you're going.
Well, that's it. You can start with an idea and maybe you can't do that exact thing then, but as you move down, and then you can start maneuvering things around to make it better.
And are you still refilling candles? So you have clients that will like buy a candle, they get a really nice visual, and then you're like, oh man, what do I do? Do I turn it into glass or a vase? But they can send it back to you and get it.
Yeah, so that all started because the Mila May & Co. started as like a vintage vessel candle thing. Yeah. So a lot of people will have a vessel that they love and they want to keep it. So they can send that back to me or drop it at my house and I'll refill it and send it off. Or I do pop-in refills for my medium and large geos, which are like my main core range.
Okay.
So that's where you keep your vessel. You just clean it at home. You buy the pop-in and you just drop it into the vessel.
Awesome.
And you're ready to go.
Awesome.
So, yeah. But I love to refill them because people have special vessels, and it's just better for the environment, right? You're reusing it.
Reuse it. Give more love.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because got a few visuals here. So if you wouldn't mind refilling those afterwards, that'd be real cool.
Well, did the
That's what I was
missus
grinning
sit
about.
with you?
I was like, oh, this is perfect, man. This gives me
Right,
some...
I'm thinking the clunking is you bringing in some espresso martinis and it's just you bringing
it's
vessels to fill.
Moulin Rouge.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Awesome. So, having now, started the journey going, I want to be a mum and not feeling particularly driven. Now, running a business that's of social media, that's growing, you've got suppliers in different parts of the world for things like visuals. How has it really changed your life?
I don't really know that it has. Like, I'm just still the same old
You're
person.
still you.
Still me.
But your outlook or your around...
I think it has helped my confidence, definitely. Like go back a few years and if you were to ask me to do this, I'd probably been like, no, I can't do that because I don't want to have cameras and stuff in my face. Like that's just awkward for me. But I'm kind of starting to realize that if you do want something, you can do it. And if you put in the hard work, you can do it. And it has changed my outlook. I try to be more positive. Yeah, but in general, I'm just the same old me, and I want it to stay that way. That's what I portray on my Instagram and stuff as well, and that's what the people like. They want to see you, and they want to see the realness.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I put my kids up there, they get so much attention. I'm like, why don't you guys run my business for me?
Yeah. I did a post for my 70-year-old mother like a few months ago.
The one where she was on the bar.
And it was my most viewed video ever. So,
that was amazing,
so now when I bring mum up from Hawke's Bay, it's like a business write-off.
She could be the entertainment.
Yeah. So where can people follow you online to see who you are? And
so I've got
more?
a website, milamayandco.co.nz, and Instagram, Mila Manco, Facebook. Yeah, that's it really. And you can find me in some shops and stuff, but yeah, just jump into my DMs.
Okay, awesome. We will do it. And just to finish off, the word awesome is a word I use a lot. What does awesome mean to you?
Cam. It means Cam.
Yeah, it's working.
Literally every time we say that word, I think of you because you remember you gave Aston that buzzer as well.
I did give him a buzzer, and so
he was just walking around, awesome, all day long. So yeah, it is just Cam's word, but it means.
What does it mean?
It means amazing things are happening, and life is good, and things are good, and let's all be positive and awesome.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks heaps for coming in.
Thank you for having
awesome
me.
to have you here, and wicked.